been a long journey coming here. There's this kind of myth that money speaks, and it's kind of ironic that before I actually give up money, I'd have 4 people in the audience, and so actually just from giving up money I've actually got a bigger audience than ever, so I think that blows the myth of that money speaks. I think my... Thank you. I think my moneyless journey actually began weirdly and ironically as a budding economist, and that sounds ironic to most people because we think of economy as money, but actually the monetary economy is just but one example of an economy, and what economy is really about is ways of meeting our needs. And so I'm trying to show the world that there's another way of meeting our needs apart from actually using money. But then just in my last year of my economics degree, I came across a guy called Gandhi his message completely scuppered my plans for world domination and wealth accumulation. And you've no idea how much I hate Gandhi now. He ruined my life. I could have had a great life, you know, like the hotel I stayed in this weekend. And yeah, so instead of going on to Wall Street and making lots of cash, I decided to start to raise awareness about the destructive and inevitable consequences of this tool we call money. And so I set up an alternative economy back in 2007 called Free Economy, which is now in over 150 countries around the world with very active groups. And its members do things on what we call a paid-for basis. So instead of always getting something in exchange, we do something and we say, just pay the favour forward. And that's a huge difference in way of thinking. So from I guess the question you're all asking is, why on earth would you give up money? Why take such an extreme action? And money is a fantastic tool. You know, it has enabled the economies of scale and the division of labour that has facilitated the entire civilization we see before us today. But what is grossly misunderstood is that this tool has got inevitable consequences, and that gets little or absolutely no attention in the mainstream media. And I guess that's what I'm trying to bring to the world. So people always ask me the question, why do you live without money? And today there's an infinite number of reasons why I live without money. It's not just one anymore. But I'll kind of outline 3 today. The first one was an initial realization that a lot of the social and ecological issues we're faced with today, such as ecological destruction, the mastering of the oceans, sweatshops, factory farms, deforestation, all these things that we pay lip service to actually caring about. These things stem from our delusion that we are separate from nature. We're not separate from nature. And it also stems from the fact that we're very, very disconnected from what we consume. So because of the widening degrees of separation between the consumer and the consumed, we no longer have any real appreciation for the embodied energy, the embodied destruction, the embodied suffering that goes into every stage of the supply chain in the things we buy. We never get to see these people. The tool that enabled this disconnection is money, especially in the global format that we see it today. So I'll give you some examples. If we all had to grow our own food, we wouldn't waste a third of it as we do in the UK right now. If we had to make our own tables and chairs, we wouldn't chuck them out the moment we decided to change the interior decor. If we had to take responsibility for our own drinking water, I doubt most of us would pee and poo in it, and it wouldn't make much sense to pee and poo in your own drinking water. And so until we reconnect with what we consume, and what I'm talking about is a completely localized economy, until we reconnect with what we consume, all these symptoms, all these social and ecological symptoms will continue because we're not getting to the root of the problem, which is our separation from nature and our separation from what we consume. We need to localize. I think the second point, second major point why I live without money, because I believe that money has now become to replace community as a primary source of security. And so over the last 13,000 years, we've had a kind of a gradual erosion of community. I've witnessed this in Ireland over the last just 15 years in the Celtic Tiger economy. And pre-agriculture and the ascent of money, humanity had security in the earth and in the relationships with people around them. But since the agricultural revolution and since the ascent of money, humanity has been striving for independence. It no longer sees itself as interdependent, it's striving for independence. And let me tell you something today, independence is a complete myth. It doesn't exist. At the very, very basic level, we're dependent on earthworms, we're dependent on bees that pollinate our food. We are not independent, and we've got to get away from this illusion of independence. That's a very, very important point for me. And so, yeah, the third main reason why I personally live around money, and this is going to sound quite harsh, but I believe that prostitution is to sex what buying and selling is to giving and receiving. And so, thank you. Yeah, so I'm not calling everybody in the audience a prostitute because they went into the office last week for 8 hours. But actually, in some ways, I guess I also am. Like, we do so many things that we do today, we don't even believe in them anymore. Yet we do them for what is inherently valued as notes and coins, that reduces all life to numbers. Like, what kind of life is that we reduce all life to numbers? And if you think of the act, if you think of the difference between making love, and I'm not just talking about having sex, I'm talking about actually really making love and having sex with a prostitute, you can sense the difference of the spirit in the act, you can sense the lack of connection or the increase of connection, how it actually feels as a human being. And that happens every day when we go to a shop, so we don't even know the name of the cashier. We have these very, very impersonal relationships. And what I'm trying to get people to imagine is, imagine a world where we give because there's no other reason. A world where the fact that we can actually give to another human being that needs help. What other reason do we need to help somebody than the fact that they need help? Why do we always have to get something in return? And yeah, we're a million miles away from that world in some ways. But in other ways, that world already exists. It happens on a daily basis with family and friends. So can you imagine if you went home on a normal Monday evening and you cook dinner for your partner, and your partner comes to sit down and you say, well, that's actually €10 for dinner. Yeah.